Here we have the most modern postal service in the world. Its employees are docile and untiring, an army of small robots on wheels. This is the future of mail sorting. We are at STO Express, the third largest postal service in China. Zhenlong Chen is the manager of these highly robotized headquarters.
number one， 程序的那个数量啊，就相当于北京机场一天的这个起降的航班的这个信息。说的简单一点啊，就我们这个平台上相当于一个国家，其实这一个地方就是相当于一个城市。比如说这个件收到这里是北京的，我们的口子北京口子在这边。
Every day, 300 robots will sort and deliver 70,000 parcels. An incredible, synchronized spectacle, without a single error. When it comes to efficiency against human employees, there is no contest.
他就做过这么一个实验，他记者他自己亲自去送，结果送一票件，我们机器的32秒。 他是花了将近15分钟送到。简单的说，一个快递跟一个快递用设备去分拣没有可比性。
A few meters away, there is one part of the factory that's not yet been robotized. Here, human employees undertake the most basic tasks.
我们这个就是很简单的，把这个快递放到这个一个平台上，我们只要把这个快递的这个面单啊，这个信息啊哈，这个上面呢有一个高速的一个摄像头，它会把拍到的这个信息啊自动传到这个服务器上面，就这么简单，很简单的一个操作流程。这个操作的话，我估计连10来岁的小孩子都能够做。在哪个位置啦？那边啊。
And even when there's interference and the robots bug, it takes just a few seconds for the problem to be fixed.
放这里啊，就 OK 啦。
This system was established in 2016 on 4 of the group's 7 platforms. Each time the company dismissed 3/4 of their employees. There are now only a dozen who remain on the platform.
都很累，对，蛮开心的。我觉得你人工就是机器人来的话，人工就轻松了，机器取代不了人。
On the other hand, Zhenlong Chen is a little less optimistic.
我们跟我们的设计团队，跟我们的技术人员啊，我们有一个初步的规划表，在未来3年内。
In fact, the robots seem to have already won. In recent months, their progress has been staggering. They can now run and jump like high-level athletes. Their intelligence is even superior to humans. On the 23rd of May 2017, the AlphaGo program managed to beat the world champion at Go, the most complicated game in the world. Some robots have evolved to such an extent that they have even gained citizen status, like here in Saudi Arabia.
This is historical to be the first robot in the world to be recognized with a citizenship.
Those who have succumbed to sin can always find absolution with this German priest robot.
Gott segne dich und behüte dich.
These days, they've conquered the world of work. Chefs in fast food restaurants. Police in Dubai. Conductors in Pisa. And of course, factory workers.
You purchase it, you maintain it well, it doesn't get tired, it doesn't have a bad day, it just runs.
Artificial intelligence is no longer science fiction. Ever more advanced, these systems are now able to learn independently.
Starting to build a machine that blurs the line between human and machine.
A new industrial revolution is underway, and it seems as if nothing can stop it. Will robots simply relieve us of thankless tasks, or will they someday replace us? Are our societies prepared for such upheaval? In the deep heart of the French countryside, a small family business like thousands of others. Old-fashioned machinery, metal and noise. But there is something rather unusual about today's job applicant, a robotic arm. Manager Marc Durand already seems convinced.
Je vais vous montrer comment on programme simplement le robot et après on va faire un petit test de sécurité.
Operation is very simple.
Donc pour le faire déplacer, on va créer un déplacement et des points de passage.
Raphael, the salesperson, takes just 30 seconds to teach the robot to perform a task.
Donc là, on vient choisir un point nous-mêmes, manuellement,
Et il faut
en
bien
venant le positionner au bon endroit.
Voilà, exactement.
The machine only needs to be shown its task once in order to learn and continuously repeat it.
Vous êtes maintenant roboticien.
Presque. Junior, roboticien junior. Ouais. Nous, on a l'habitude dans le milieu industriel, dès qu'on dit robot, tout de suite, c'est roboticien. Tout le monde s'en fait une montagne de programmation, de difficultés. Là, on détermine une trajectoire manuellement. Le robot la reduplique. Clairement, oui, c'est bluffant.
This obedient employee has another advantage. It is very affordable for small businesses like Mark's, only €35,000.
On arrête l'enregistrement.
At this sort of price, the manager already has an idea of which position this robot could fill.
Donc là, on est sur un incendinage. Donc là, on voit que l'opérateur est obligé de se pencher dans la machine pour charger. Est-ce qu'on pourrait mettre des choses de ce type-là en place?
Bien sûr.
All day long, Dennis, the technician, places piece after piece of metal into this machine. After 15 years of work, his body is growing tired.
Mon dos peine de plus en plus, quoi, à cause de ces manipulations répétées et usantes, quoi.
But for Mark, taking on this robotic arm is not just a matter of his employees' well-being.
Denis a deux actions sur la machine. La première, qui est sa réelle valeur ajoutée, c'est de programmer la machine. Et la seconde, c'est de l'alimenter. Ce qui peut être fait par le robot, pendant que Denis, lui, s'attarde plus à une fonction qui est réellement une forte valeur ajoutée de programmation de la prochaine production.
Improved company productivity and less risk for the employees, a concept that today is allowing this robot's manufacturer to flood the market with a new kind of worker. Universal Robots. The name of this manufacturer is deceivingly American, but the concept of a human assist robot wasn't born in the US or in Japan, but in Denmark, in Odense, a small port city in the south of the country. It was Esben Ostergaard who came up with the idea. Fascinated by robots since childhood, this 43-year-old family man has since passed on his enthusiasm to the entire family.
You can see the robot here, this one. And I think this is also a kind of a robot.
Esben may well be a multi-millionaire, but he's not an eccentric. Nordic serenity, minimalist decor. In his home, only a few specialty magazines testify to his brilliant success. Yet, in less than 10 years, he has advanced his company's status to become the international giant of robotics.
The audience is a mix of manufacturers and system integrators and end users.
Yeah, it's a perfect audience for selling, automate the world.
The Kingdom of Denmark's interest in robotics is no coincidence. 30 years ago, the Danish firm Maersk, world leader in maritime transport, sought to automate its activities. The objective was completely autonomous machines, driverless cranes and trailers to build and unload the boats. So, Maersk donated 10 million euros to the University of Odense to create a robotics department.
Yeah, so this is the building where it all started. Yeah, I did.
This is where Esben Ostergaard carried out his studies, and he has clearly left his mark on the institute.
So I'm happy to see that my PhD project is still here, these transformer robots. If you have 100 of these, you can put them on the floor, they'll start finding each other and connecting and then building a structure. So it was a shape-changing robot or a transformer robot. That was the whole idea.
For the first time, he's returning to the place where he created his first robotic prototype 10 years ago. A simple workshop where he would often work through the night.
Would be fun to find something. Yeah, it's so many years ago. But it looks like it's still being used for robots of different kinds. But what is it? I don't know if they need to walk. That's not so necessary for our robots. I'm personally a believer that robots are not people, they're machines, they're tools. It's an extension of our body to do more with our body, but it's not a companion and a colleague. So when we started Universal Robots, we were sitting in this room as a project room for the university. So I was sitting over here doing all the software, and my colleague Christian, he was sitting here doing all the hardware. In the morning of the board meeting, we had managed to build a 6-axis robot here. It was 5 o'clock in the morning, we were finished, and we wanted to go out just to have a rest. And then the whole thing fell on the floor right here. Okay, do we give up? Because that's what we felt like. Or do we actually go down, start picking up the pieces, straightening all the cables out and trying to build the whole thing again? So we really said, okay, we have to do this. We knew we had the product that the world needed. We really wanted this robot to come out and make a difference in the world.
His concept of a small robot able to work alongside humans has already changed the lives of millions of workers around the world. Today, Universal Robots employs 350 employees in 50 countries worldwide to give life to these so-called collaborative robots.
It can move like an elbow can move. If I'm moving like this, I can also rotate around this axis. If I'm moving like this, I can also rotate around this axis. And if I'm moving like this, I can also rotate around this axis. So that gives in total 6 ways we can move in the universe we have today. So if we design and construct the robot in the right way, then the servo drives, they can actually provide the same 6 degrees of freedom for movement. So that's the philosophy behind the robots we have. So it's an arm, a body, and an extra hand. Yeah.
At first glance, this little extra hand seems like the ideal assistant, just like an employee, but better. However, Esben seems unconcerned.
Once people start automating with robots, our robots and also other robots, they end up hiring more people, so they get more people working because they get more productive. So the robots grow the business more than it replaces people.
Robots that assist humans, that make us more productive without leading to unemployment. An idealized vision of the robotic revolution, but one that is about to be completely challenged.
Imagine the next age of human experience, affecting how we communicate, and how we live our
This
lives.
attractive young blonde woman is not real. However, she is about to cause a real stir in the job market. Say hello to artificial intelligence.
We'll take this journey of knowledge together. I'm Amelia, and I'll be your guide.
At the top of this New York tower are the headquarters of the company that created Amelia, an artificial intelligence service intended to replace office workers. Ergun Ekici is one of Amelia's creators.
Hello, Amelia.
Hi.
And the young lady recognized me. So let's talk about it. This is Amelia's brain. Each of these points of light here is not just a visual, pretty picture. It represents knowledge and information the cognitive agent is taking with them. If you read something, do you memorize the words? No, nobody memorizes the words. What you do is you read the words, you extract the concepts, and build relationships between them. So I'm asking Amelia a question. What is France 2? Yeah?
I have no idea.
She has no idea. That's okay. She just hasn't learned.
Ergun Ekici will feed Amelia information just like a child. He provides her with 10 lines of facts taken from the internet about the television channel without further instruction.
And then I gave that to Amelia and I said, read, learn. You would actually see a semantic network. The concepts that,
Amelia's brain absorbs the information in just a few seconds and, according to Ergun Ekici, makes connections between the words to grasp the full meaning of the phrase, exactly like a human brain.
And now, I'm going to ask her again, what is France 2?
A French public national television channel.
Not bad.
Amelia's artificial intelligence has sorted through the text given to her by Ergun Ekici, managing to identify and select the correct information.
Now, if I continue, what group is it a part of? I would like you to think of a very simple situation. Type, what group is it a part of into Google? It's a very simple thing, but what do you mean by it? He, she, they.
We did the test. The search engine reads each word separately without really understanding the overall meaning of the question. For Google, CA simply means agricultural credit. But not only is Amelia able to understand more complex questions, she can also interpret them, thus providing the best possible answer.
So if I ask her, what group is a part of?
France Television's group.
Fantastic. It's starting to give like a human. I read, I understood, and you can see the different parts of her brain as it's activating and giving that answer. We're starting to build a machine that blurs the line between human and machine.
A computer brain built like a human's, but with unlimited memory and no risk of defect. Ergun Ekici has already rolled out his protege across a multitude of sectors: insurance, human resources, travel agencies, banking. Amelia has the necessary skills to work in every one of these customer relations departments.
And what I want to show you is how she uses a new part of her brain.
For the first few months, Amelia will be unable to work alone. It's impossible for her to understand every aspect of your job. That's normal. She has to learn. But she will be trained by the very best. You. Whether you like it or not. For example, when a customer wants to activate their new credit card.
Amelia has not been taught the process for dealing with this. But she has seen other people do this before. You can actually put her on the same channel that the agent is talking to a customer. And she can watch the conversation between them. She says, oh, I see what you did.
The potential scope for this kind of artificial intelligence is infinite, and this is what worries economists. As early as 2013, a study carried out by two researchers from Oxford University in England revealed that artificial intelligence could have an enormous impact on office jobs. It could, in theory, replace 99% of telesales representatives and 94% of accountants and paralegals. Edwin van Bommel is the head of Amelia's cognitive team. His mission? To persuade consumers to accept her. In order to achieve this, he has put all of his trust in one idea.
People relate much more to a machine when the machine looks more human. There was a test in Japan on an airport where they had a service robot just wandering around, but it was more like a machine. And everyone ignored the machine, and people were wondering why are people not using our nice machine, which can print your boarding ticket and all these things. And then the only thing they did is they put an iPad on it with a smiley face. And people started to use it. Christopher is our lead cognitive designer, so his job is to make Amelia as human as possible.
Christopher is an expert in this field. Previously employed by Disney, every day he works to make Amelia likable, to make her demonstrate emotions, as you'll see by contacting your bank.
What you're seeing here is the tool that actually helps control her face and her facial expressions. And this is connected to the Amelia platform brain. So in real time, she can demonstrate emotion. So it makes me feel as an end user like I'm being heard, she's respecting me, she's understanding what I'm trying to say.
In order to build good relationships with future clients, Christopher is trying to provide Amelia with one essential character trait: empathy.
We're trying to work on facial tracking as well. So at the moment, we do most of the tracking through text, but we're working on facial tracking so that we can really understand that if you say, sure, but your face is bad, that might be you being sarcastic through the text. We might not be able to measure that as well just through the text, but if I see your face and I can understand what you were really showing on your face at the same time, I can better understand what you're trying to emote to me. And she'll try and mirror her emotion to your emotion.
Several artificial intelligence platforms, just like Amelia, are being tested in hundreds of companies worldwide. For example, in France, a number of large banks, including Crédit Mutuel and BNP Paribas, have invested millions of euros in Watson, one of Amelia's competitors. Here in Conversation, Watson takes the form of an ultra-realistic female avatar.
How's it going?
I'm doing well, thank you. I'm really excited to be here.
None of these companies responded to our filming requests, and for good reason. These virtual super advisors are set to make a massive impact. Amelia's own designers estimate that artificial intelligence will eliminate 250 million jobs worldwide by 2025.
Amelia will do work, and then always the question is, what do you do with the freed up capacity? We, as IPsoft, don't steer that. We just want to make sure that Amelia is super successful and has impact.
Robots have already established themselves in the world of industry. At present, with the rise of artificial intelligence, it is service jobs that are most threatened. We're on our way to North Carolina, Southport, a small seaside town popular with swimmers and fishermen. Beverly Clayton lives here. She's 52 years old. Beverly is not a factory worker, yet she is among the first waves of employees to fall victim to robotization. Until last February, she worked as an accountant for the largest American supermarket chain, Walmart.
That's the Walmart that I worked at for 16 years. And, you know, they eliminated my job because they centralized it and digitalized it.
Her job was eliminated, along with many of the other accountants who worked for the company.
From the West Coast United States to the East Coast, 7,000 jobs, 7,000 people. And that was invoicing and the cash office. because they replaced the cash office with the digital machine.
This is the machine that replaced her. Walmart has installed one in each of its stores. An intelligent machine that counts cash and invoices in seconds. It also communicates with the bank so that the money earned immediately generates interest. Last but not least, it predicts the cash flow needed for the proper functioning of the store. In less than a minute, this machine completes the same tasks that took Beverly several hours. Beverly found a new job relatively quickly, an accounting position in a small local business, but the arrival of artificial intelligence has still cost her dearly.
That's my last check stub. With all the benefits, oh, my job was worth $30 an hour. But I went from that to just basically $15 an hour. I don't have any benefits.
No more social security, pension, sick leave or paid leave. A huge saving for Walmart, but heavy consequences for employees like Beverly.
You know, people losing their jobs, you know, a lot of times that means that you're losing everything. You know, you're not just losing your job, you're losing your house, you're losing your car, you know, you know, I just wonder how many of those 7,000 people, you know, were actually affected that way. It is sad to think that, you know, they just discount these people.
A hasty dismissal. That came as a shock for Beverly and 7,000 other accountants.
When I went to Walmart like 15 years ago, I remember the lady that was training me, and she had been there probably already 20 years. And, you know, she was telling me, you know, well, they want to go paperless, you know, it's going to get more digital, and, you know, but we'll never see it. She was wrong. She really felt like, you know, that it would just never happen.
The reason for her dismissal is impossible to dispute: lack of work. A phenomenon likely to become more and more prominent in years to come. In Europe, France has also become a leader in robotics. In the small town of La Roche-sur-Yon, in the western region of Vendée, we find the second largest plastics processing robotics company in the world. Welcome to Lepreux. Here, 300 employees build giant, ultra-specialized robots that can cost up to 500,000 euros each. And yet, executive Jean-Michel Renaudot is selling them like hotcakes. This morning, the roles are reversed. Jean-Michel has an appointment with sales representatives from one of the largest global brands of domestic robots. They want to sell him a robot receptionist.
Bonjour, très heureux. Bonjour à vous. Quand je vais à côté, on voit bien le côté jouet. Pepper, hein, vous l'appelez comme ça. Moi, j'aurais tendance à lui donner un nom plus sympa, du genre Joe le robot. Mais comme on est dans une société de robotique industrielle, je voudrais qu'on ait la même promesse que nos robots, c'est-à-dire de la fiabilité, du sérieux. Finalement, je voudrais mettre ce robot qui a l'air d'un jouet au travail.
When it comes to robots, Jean-Michel Renaudot is fairly demanding. He wants to see if this one will be able to welcome his visitors.
Venez avec moi, Caroline, on va y aller à deux. Et donc on arrive, donc il est pas lancé.
But the job interview is about to come to a sudden end.
Alors, mon jeune ami.
Bienvenue chez Lepreux. Je peux vous présenter nos produits ainsi que nos services en attendant l'arrivée de votre contact.
Je ne le souhaite pas. Alors là, en termes d'interaction, finalement, si je dis que je ne le souhaite pas, il se passe quoi?
In fact, not a lot happens. This little robot has limited capabilities and only responds to pre-programmed situations.
Ce robot-là, c'est un nouveau-né, en fait, en matière d'accueil. Il faut tout lui apprendre, en fait. Hein. Donc il faut lui faire son éducation, entre guillemets. Bon.
Et peut-être que pour le visiteur aussi, c'est sûr que la première fois...
Cute looking, but not particularly useful. Quite the opposite of his own robots, enormous machines weighing several tons that he sells to car manufacturers all over the world.
C'est quasiment ce qu'on fait de plus gros. Ça embarque 100 kilos. Ça va être des faces avant de véhicules, ça va être des planches de bord. Finalement, il fait un travail humain. C'est un robot de manutention.
A highly popular robot, particularly across the Atlantic, this is Jean-Michel Renaudot's largest market. Pittsburgh, the birthplace of the American steel industry. Lepreux's chief executive comes here regularly to meet with potential American clients.
Je vois Fresenius là en face, vous savez que c'est un client allemand, ça? Non. Vous devriez aller voir s'ils ont des prêts d'injection. Je bloque pas.
Jean-Michel Renaudot also comes here to find out about future technological advances. His goal is to increase his market share in the country. Currently, it's at 30%. He has formed a partnership with the most prestigious university in the robotics field, Carnegie Mellon.
Good afternoon, David.
Good afternoon, Jean-Michel. It's so nice to see you.
How are you?
Very nice to see you.
David Bourne has been a doctor of robotics since 1976.
I see that we have a nice welcome.
It's a robot receptionist. You can ask it all kinds of questions about where to find David Bourne.
We should have it at Cepro. That would be a great idea, yeah?
Yes.
Ah, mais bien sûr.
These laboratories are filled with prototypes, each one more astonishing than the next. Every robot here has a very practical function. In this robotics department, some 800 PhD students are working for the US Department of Defense and a multitude of other organizations from Boeing to Google.
Can you launch it again? Yeah, perfect. It's been deployed in nuclear power plants. It's gone into the pyramids of Giza in Egypt. It's very good for search and rescue in general.
This intelligent robotic snake is able to identify and go around obstacles. It was particularly helpful in finding people buried under the rubble during the 2017 earthquake in Mexico.
I'm so your wife, people like it.
I'm not scared, it's only a machine.
Yeah.
Là, je trouve que c'est un peu fort. It's a bit strong, if you don't mind. Do you see this concept applicable to what we do?
Oh, yes. Are you willing to do it next year? Maybe not, but...
No, it's long term. May I take a photograph?
You're very popular.
C'est le magasin de jouets, c'est la boîte à idées, et puis c'est surtout se dire que c'est possible. Je pense que l'idée principale en venant à Carnegie, c'est de se dire que, à la limite, ce qui est impossible aujourd'hui peut être possible demain. C'est ça qui est important. Et surtout, pour moi, ce qui m'intéresse, c'est si c'est possible demain, ça va faire du business, parce qu'on est quand même là pour ça.
But how will this business affect employment? After 40 years spent inventing the future, David Bourne is full of hope, but he's also realistic.
I mean, I think we have to be cautious about it. Technology is always neutral. We've learned this from, the atomic bomb era, where we can use these technologies for bad, but good just as well. So technology is how we use it, how we structure it, how we build an environment to put around it. It is so wrong to build robots and to put them on their building by themselves, because that's already causing the problem that I'm afraid of.
If David fears the misuse of technology, it is surely because, in reality, workers have suffered a detriment at the hands of the robotic industry. Daron Acemoglu is an economist and researcher at the prestigious MIT University in Boston. Not exactly a dangerous leftist, barely 4 years ago, he could only see the advantages of robotization.
Sometimes new technologies replace machines for tasks previously performed by workers. And when that happens, some workers lose their jobs. And again, there are distributional consequences to it. But overall, the view of economists has been, and the evidence has strongly suggested, that the workers and society as a whole benefits.
But he has re-evaluated since then, basing his current opinions on hard data.
And our results are a little bit more negative. We don't see disappearance of millions of jobs. But we do certainly see that over a 20-year period, there isn't a quick regeneration of jobs in other sectors of the economy, as some employees have lost their employment to the oncoming automation process.
His study on the impact of robots on jobs is the first of its kind. According to him, from 1990 until 2007, robots are shown to have eradicated up to 670,000 American industry jobs. 10 years later, the situation is no better. Detroit, Michigan, Motor City as insiders call it. Lepreux executive Jean-Michel Renandeau finds most of his American customers here. Here, collaborative robots are already a thing of the past. There's a machine for molding parts, a robot to extract them from the mold, and another to pack them up without any human intervention. For the French executive, the days of human workers are numbered.
Sur la partie fabrication pure, on peut penser qu'on ira toujours plus loin dans le fait effectivement de supprimer la présence humaine là où ça n'est pas nécessaire. Pour être honnête, j'étais étonné que ce soit fait à la main.
Voilà, la question c'est ça en fait.
Sean is Jean-Michel's main contact here. He's the head of automation.
About 50 different work centers now. We make 85% decorative badging for the automotive industry.
In fact, for Sean, a robotic engineer, the human workforce causes more problems than it's worth.
We are looking for every opportunity to automate. Well, it comes down to efficiency, right? Where with a human you have a continual cost. Every year you're paying that salary, you're paying the benefits, you have the fatigue factor to put into there. With robotics, you don't. You purchase it, you maintain it well, it doesn't get tired, it doesn't have a bad day, it just runs. And the repeatability is there. The saying to err is human. We don't have to worry about that with the robotics.
But I wanted to answer, not enough robots.
Right. Never enough, right?
Never enough. This is another one of Jean-Michel Renaudeau's clients. Here, robotization has been taken to the extreme.
Al told me that this is the most beautiful plant in the area. So.
At TI Automotive, Jean-Michel's robots do the handling. 15 injection molding machines with a French robot hanging over each one produce the small plastic parts that are found inside our car engines.
And really, we do not see any personnel. Everything is automated.
Yes.
And the flow of parts is just being put on conveyors.
Yeah.
And some people come to take the boxes or...
Yes, they do some quick gauging.
Yeah.
And then they put them on a skid. So we could run 12 hours with the lights out.
Okay.
But after the 12 hours, I have to pack out.
Impressive.
For all this, the factory employs only 2 technicians who are sometimes at a bit of a loose end.
We did a good job together, yeah?
Yeah. Definitely.
Il y a 2 personnes pour faire fonctionner une quinzaine de machines. Enfin, c'est tout à fait remarquable. Hein. Donc, bien sûr, on est dans l'industrie, mais c'est un peu... ici, c'est un peu une œuvre d'art. Hein. C'est pousser l'injection plastique au plus haut niveau. Donc, c'est vraiment très, très convaincant.
Est-ce que parfois, vous vous posez la question de participer à un système qui supprime de l'emploi humain? Est-ce que c'est quelque chose qui vous...
C'est évident. C'est évident, on sait bien effectivement que d'un côté on poursuit quelque chose d'inévitable, c'est d'aller avec le flux technologique, d'aller avec l'économie de la connaissance qui nous pousse toujours plus loin dans le fait de proposer des solutions efficaces, et puis se poser quand même la question de ce qui se passe pour les gens qui sont inadaptés.
Here, manager Matthew dismissed 38 of 40 employees, or 95% of his no longer useful workforce.
What happened to jobs?
I think they'll keep moving until, there's not that particular type of job, they're available for.
That's a bit frightening, isn't it?
It's very unfortunate.
The American automotive industry now uses 5 times the number of robots as it did 15 years ago, and has reduced its workforce by half.
costs between North America and the rest of the world. It's not a 8-to-8 comparison. It's not apples to apples anymore. We have to figure it out.
If these executives are to be believed, replacing workers with robots is the only way for the US industry to stay competitive in a globalized world. Based on this business rationale, some have come up with a model, a state strategy, just like that of the world trade leader, China. This empire won the globalization war long ago. Over the last 20 years, the Chinese workforce has become more expensive and less competitive. Companies have even started to relocate to cheaper countries, and there's no turning back. Nowadays, Chinese workers are demanding. They look twice at a job offer before accepting it. Worse, they even dare to protest. Between 2012 and 2017, thousands of social movements were documented in China by various NGOs. Each of these red dots represents a workers' protest. Dealing with this growing discontent was a real problem for the central government. So the Chinese authorities reacted by focusing on automation. Tao is a labour activist in the Canton region. For his safety, you won't see his face. In 2012, he organised the first footwear sector strikes, much to the grief of the regime. Ever since, he's been under surveillance. He agreed to meet us in a discreet location.
因为人管理现在也不好管理，你知道这个8人9人或者这个新生代这工人啊，不像我们这一代人管理那么方便。对这个罢工的话，也是最近前几年啊特别多，比如说13年到15年期间，工资待遇这一块，我们只能说从速度上是有很大的改变，会有提高啊。以前说可能是1000块钱左右，那现在有3到4000块钱啊，可能利用这个机械啊。这个机械化啊，来替代这个人工成本啊，这也是一些企业考虑的一个问题啊。
In 2015, the Chinese state announced a plan of mass automation to benefit their economy. 650,000 robots installed every year until 2025, replacing millions of workers. Qingdao in southeast China. The largest companies in the home appliance sector are located here, such as Haier and Hisense. Elsewhere, Hisense products are better known under other brands, Hitachi, Whirlpool or Sharp. The group owns 9 factories, of which this is the most impressive, holding 5,000 employees. It is almost a city in itself, with housing, activities and an enormous canteen for workers. Immediately, the image seems far away from the giant sweatshops often associated with Chinese factories. But Hisense is a public enterprise owned by the city of Qingdao. Mr. Li, the factory manager, is a senior official. Like everybody else, he dutifully follows the party's doctrine of robotization.
这边是不是稍后的时候，到时候可以在进去的时候再拍这里边，包括自动的覆膜、贴附等相关的一些设备。
Mr. Li is keen to show us the more state-of-the-art sections of his factory, which produce televisions for customers worldwide. What he seems most proud of is not the labourers who work in the assembly line, but the dozens of robots that are steadily replacing them.
意愿是非常强烈的，因为大家都知道，中国也发布了《中国制造2025》，也是通过从这个政策方面来引导我们不断的进行智能化改造和升级，然后会有一定的政策性的倾斜。
Since 2015, automation has been rapidly implemented here at Hisense. At the Qingdao site alone, 500 robots have been installed. And when it comes to the Chinese economy, a few thousand workers don't carry much weight.
我们之前的话，工厂的话大约有8000多人，现在的话只有5000多人。
A public enterprise eliminating thousands of jobs. This is becoming the norm in today's China, where such policies are fully adopted, especially with constant encouragement from the government to go one step further.
现在整个线体的一个自动化程度的话，大约能占到40%。那么我们在未来2到3年之内的目标的话，是要达到60%以上。60%的话，按照我们现在的比例进行换算的话，那么大约在增加。
It's clear that the wave of job dismissals is only just beginning. Hisense is just one example of hundreds of others all over China. Amongst the population, this phenomenon is the subject of intense debate.
但是会有很多人失业，就特别是年轻人，劳动力减小了嘛。
我觉得这个挺好的，这个第一个跟国际，如果假如机器能代替了一些人的操作，那我们人是不是多一些时间可以操作其他东西？旅游呀，享受生活呀，还有那个晋升啊、学习啊，那他不能说就是说你用机器代替了人，然后人就失业，其实不一定的。然后制造这个机器的是不是需要人呢？你可以换一个角度。
啊，这个回答你啊，因为如果是。 不可能每一个人都去搞机器人设计机器人操作了嘛？那机器人自己成为一个世界，都自己能够设计、能够制造自己这个工作，那我们这个人。
For now, it's still possible for Chinese workers to find jobs, but what will happen once the government plan is put into place?
把这工作做好了，那我认为它是一个很好的一个方案啊，是很好的一个政策，对。但如果说没有安排好，或者说，这个机器放映以后，这几百万甚至上千万的工人，那有说深圳的话，它有几百万，那说珠三角地区那可能上千万、几千万都有啊，80%这个比例。其实刚我的意思是说，如果这个政府不愿意让这一部分人去享受这个经济发展成果的话，那这部分人肯定是不同意的。 好的一个条件和机会的话，他可能会有更大的一些动作，比如说去推翻这个不好的一个体制啊，一个政府啊，这种情况可能是也是有的。
How can the government avoid an uprising of millions of labourers and white-collar workers once replaced by robots or artificial intelligence? We received the same response to this question as was given to us by every other interviewee. They will have to be trained, but trained to do what?
Here is a very basic question. If you could encourage your children to get a little bit more numeracy skills, or a little bit more communication skills, or a little bit more teamwork skills, which one should you do? I don't think we know the answer to that because we don't know which ones of these skills are going to be more complementary to the new technologies of the future. If we do nothing, if we keep our institutions, if we keep our social safety net, if we keep our education system, retraining programs the same, robots and artificial intelligence are going to spread, then we have a problem. Because if you don't adapt, then there will be more and more people losing out, losing their jobs, being unemployed, being discontented. And discontented people, as we've seen all over Europe, in the United States, start voting for extremists, for people who promise to shake up the system.
So, have the robots definitely triumphed? And have we reached a point of no return? If things take a turn for the worse, you can always direct your complaints to Amelia.